Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. A day ago, we reported that one activist and also a lawyer who is from the southeast have dragged Sam Adeyemi, Davido, P Square, and 47 others to court for EndSars protest, saying that they actually promoted it and it resulted to damage of both public and private properties. And ever since he did that, there had been responses from different quarters. Some of the celebrities have reacted. For example, Sam Adeyemi was just wondering who is the one that advised this young man to file this kind of frivolous case in court. He also took First Libya also replied that in as much as he's not been served with a summon, he's not interested in, and he cannot also make any comment about the lawsuits. So many other persons, Aisha also said, asked a lot of questions that what kind of uniform are we going to be wearing to court, was asking the EndSars protesters, and a lot of other persons also responded. But right now, this Southeast group have decided to distance themselves, because when this thing happened, most people were like, hey, why should it be a Southeasterner that is doing this kind of thing? Whatever that had happened, we were trying to secure, we are trying to register our displeasure over the way police has been treating Nigerians and other bad governance issues. Why should it be a Southeasterner, that is behind this whole thing? The name of the guy is KeneChukwu, Okeke. So when all of that, people talked about it, and people were like, it shouldn't be a Southeasterner that is doing this. But right now, a group in Southeast have decided to come out to distance themselves, the Southeast, and even on the presidency from whatever lawsuit that this guy had brought up. They said they don't even know him in that geopolitical zone, and that they have nothing to do with him. And according to the news, the Conference of Igbo Youth Professional Worldwide has disassociated itself from the action of Mr. KeneChukwu Okeke over his lawsuit against the senior pastor of Daystar Christian Center, Sam Adeyemi, and 49 alleged promoters of the EndSars protest. The group, with wide network across the world, also disowned the acclaimed activist, saying he was not known in their fold or in the Southeast geopolitical region. This was as it disassociated President Muhammadu Buhari from the action of Mr. Okeke, alleging that he was being sponsored by those it described as fit columnists to paint the president and his administration black in the eyes of Nigerians and the whole world. To this end, the Conference of Igbo Youth Professional Worldwide, in a statement Wednesday by its President General Barrister Madu Ebuchi Nwodu, appealed to Nigerians to disregard the antics of Mr. Okeke and his alleged sponsors. Expressing shock over the action of Mr. Okeke, the Igbo group said the action was not only ill-timed but also mischievous. According to the statement, and I quote, he said, "This, no doubt, is an anti-progressive and anti-people action that should not have the support of people yearning for a better Nigeria." The Conference of Igbo Youth Professional Worldwide said, contrary to the picture being painted by Mr. Okeke, his action had no blessings of the people from the Southeast extraction, insisting that he was alone in his game. Just as we are shocked at the action of Mr. KeneChukwu, we are in utmost disbelief that an Igbo man could be used by some enemies of Nigeria to institute this evil action in court, it wondered. The statement read in full, "Our attention has been drawn to a criminal charge filed by one activist, KeneChukwu Okeke, against Pastor Sam Adeyemi and 49 other influential young Nigerians at the Magistrate Court Abuja over the alleged role in the recent EndSars protests in the country. While we acknowledge his fundamental human right to sue and be sued, we receive these with mixed feelings, considering that it is not only ill-timed but also mischievous. This, no doubt, is an anti-progressive and anti-people action that should not have the support of people yearning for a better Nigeria." Just as we are shocked at the action of Mr. KeneChukwu, we are in almost disbelief that an evil man could be used by some enemies of Nigeria to institute this evil action in court. We wish to not completely disown him, but also strongly disassociate ourselves from him. As a well-recognized and respected Igbo organization, we can authoritatively say here that the so-called KeneChukwu Okeke is not known in the southeast region where all members hail from. He is carrying out his action exclusively on his own and not acting on behalf of Ndibos. We call on all Nigerians not to view his action as an Igbo agenda, but a mischievous agenda carried out for his selfish reason as directed by the paymasters. After a thorough investigation, we make bold to say that the said KeneChukwu acted on his own without the support or endorsement of the federal or any state government whatsoever. He rather acted selfishly to gain recognition and also set Nigerian youth up against the federal government just to satisfy the agenda of his paymasters who are bent on disuniting Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari has repeatedly appealed to the youth to remain calm and come to the drawing table to negotiate, and this is where we are now. So we wonder what he stands to benefit by trying to thwart this peaceful process. We wish to remind him and his sponsors that the federal government has every instrument at its disposal to institute action against the youth influencers, especially following the ugly turn of events that trailed the recent #EndSars protests across the country, if they so wish, but they didn't. The government's quiet disposition to allow things die down naturally despite the development was no doubt an indication that the government is committed to resolving the matter in peace. Our discreet investigation revealed that the insinuation that the said complainant acted on behalf of the government or Igbo nation is far from the truth and should be discountenanced. Rather, he acted completely without the knowledge of either the government or Igbo nation. Based on the available evidence available to us, we make bold to say that he acted as more for some feed columnists who are bent on giving the government a bad name and don't want the unity of Nigeria. We therefore call on all Nigerians, Igbo nation, home and abroad, to appeal to him to drop these ill-timed charges in the interest of peace without further delay. Ndibo must come and distance themselves from him. Well, this is a good one, but though I do not really know this particular group, I this is the first time of hearing from them, and also I hope too that they are not being sponsored by also some persons to come in and say some things, which for me it's really not interesting because there are some statements he has made bringing in the federal government that actually the federal government want peace. President Muhammadu Buhari has been calling for peace, but there are some other underground step that has been taken pointing to the fact that as much as the president is calling for peace, that there are certain things that are meant to be done underground. For example, Shehu Gaba came up and said that those who were behind the protest, that the celebrities and all of that, though he didn't mention name, that they were going to be dealt with law. That's the law of the land. Since Nigeria is a lawful country, that those people will be dealt with. And people were now asking questions. Does it mean that it's unlawful for people to protest? Whatever that had happened were like the aftermath of the protest, which was as a result of negligence on the part of the security operative. Because according to the law, anytime there's a protest, security must be on standby to see how the people involved in the protest can be protected, and at the same time, so that it will not turn into violence where properties will be destroyed. So that's why they must be there. So if the security were at work, being around to ensure that things of that magnitude does not happen, they would have stopped those hoodlums who came afterwards, to fight the protesters and also to engage in destruction of properties. Though that's where I don't really understand where this is coming from. But also, this guy KeneChukwu Okeke has already, based on what we've now heard, automatically he has no leaning walls. To point out that these are my sponsors. He didn't say that. So, what the organization, the Conference of Igbo Youth Professional Worldwide, are saying is that we do not know this guy. Ndibos also do not know him. Whatever he did was strictly by himself, and for those who are really interested in the disuniting of our country, Nigeria. And I think this is a good one because most people had talked about the fact that it's coming from an Igbo person. People were really shocked. Why should it be an Igbo guy doing all of this, considering the fact that there had been so much thing happening around? And why should you come out when peace is about to settle in and be doing all this nonsense? However, it has been clarified. But do you think that these guys, this group that have come out to speak on behalf of Ndibos and on behalf of the federal government, precisely President Muhammadu Buhari, do you think they are not also sponsored? Remember, their name is Conference of Igbo Youth Professional Worldwide. Let's interact in our comment section. Please, no hate words. Don't use bad words.